Contestants are muted.
Yep. And now that we really start, I will explain all the rules again. There are 6 problems from 100 points to 600 points. They can do them in any order, and the first to get more than half of all the points wins, and that's 1100. For example, it's enough to just do 500 and 600, but those are the most difficult problems. Once a person solves a problem, the opponent cannot do it. So if they both work on the same problem, and one submits a second before the other, that's points just for one person. It's impossible for both of them to get points for the same problem. And joining me is Steven. Hi, Steven, again.
Hey. Hi.
And we will commentate this match for you.
Yeah. And for those who haven't participated or spectated Lockout before, one of the most exciting elements is neither contestant really knows for sure what the other person is working on, especially in the very beginning. So a lot of that is just kind of guessing and hoping that if you happen to be working on the same problem, you'll finish it first and lock them out.
Exactly. And yeah, if they never work on the same problem at the same time, then seconds will not matter most of the time. But otherwise, if they both work, for example, if they both start with 500 points, which makes some sense, then one of them will be very much ahead of the other if they solve it first.
Oh, and it looks like getting started very soon. Problems have been posted. I can post these in the chat as well if people aren't in the Discord channel.
Yeah, that would be nice if you can do it. They both
and
get access.
Let's first see what they're working on.
Yeah, it will not be easy. But I guess with time we will get that. Egor hasn't started yet?
Oh,
he has started now.
He just opened up problem A. And
it seems like they both will work on problems in Russian. That's unfortunate.
I think Khan is working on the 500-point problem, or at least reading it. And Egor is on alternating sum. That's the 300-point problem. So they haven't picked the same problem to solve, but it'll still be interesting to see how fast they can get.
I think it's the first time when I see a 300-pointer to be solved first.
Yeah, maybe Egor read the problem name and thought, like, alternating sum sounds easy. So wanted to snipe that one first.
Maybe.
All right. So let's see what Khan is typing here. Okay, reading in the tree. I haven't actually read these problems yet.
We will post links to all the problems in a moment in the chat. And if you follow links from the description, you can just join the Discord server and see all the matches yourself and switch between screens.
So the Discord bot should automatically detect when a participant submits as well, right?
Yes, that will happen soon.
Okay.
They just need to check out the Discord website from time to time.
Mm-hmm. Great. All right. So it's like Khan is implementing a function to walk up a node. Interesting.
Okay. Alternating sum. They are both right now working on alternating sum. Is that right? The third problem?
No, it looks like Khan is... I think Khan is working on tree painting, but it's hard to know for sure because they're both called problem E in their original contest, right?
I see.
Or no, alternating sum is A. Yeah, let's check on Yegor. Yeah, so Yegor is definitely working on alternating sum right now.
The statement is
yeah.
quite short, so maybe let's try to understand it. All values in S are integers 1 or minus 1. Sequence is k periodic and k divides n plus 1. Find out the non-negative remainder of division of some crazy sum by billion 9.
So this is kind of like, it kind of reminds me of like binomial exponentiation. A and B.
But we have something very long here.
One thing I'm noticing is you can just change this to like B divided by A as the...
Yeah, every next term will be very similar to the previous one. And because how are we given a sequence S?
Yeah.
Oh, by the period, right.
Yeah, so it sounds like you evaluate the period, and then you know that after that it's still like a geometric series. It's a sequence if you group it by period.
Yeah. By the way, we have an update from match Umnik versus Eknerwala. Umnik has solved 500 pointer.
Ooh. Oh, I think Khan has made a submission. Let's see what the Lockout bot says about that. It says on my screen that it was accepted. So Khan has a 500 pointer. I'll go ahead and mark that in the bingo sync. And what is Khan working on next? Okay, Khan is currently looking at Yegor's submissions. Yegor submitted for problem A, alternating sum, but he actually got a wrong answer on test 9. Wrong answer on test 9. What do you think his bug is?
Sorry about the issue with the stream. For quite some long time on the right, I didn't show Khan's screen. Now it should be good. Wrong answer on test 9. Overflows, I would guess. Especially if you have something negative and maybe you don't take modulo correctly. Oh, somebody corrected me that the match is Omnic versus Roma White. So sorry about that. I said Eknerwal.
Yeah, n can be up to 10 to the 9. I'm just going to cheat and click on code forces what his...
That's a good idea.
Problem.
To Furama.
Okay, so he is failing on a case where the jury's answer is like 90 million and his output is 0.
I see.
So that doesn't actually look like an overflow. That looks more like an edge case.
Also, if Khan now gets 400 quickly and correctly, he will be ahead with 900 points, and then 200 is enough for him. If Egor manages to do 300 and then does 200 as well, they will just both race for 600. So the difference in points will not matter.
Let me see. So Khan, which problem is he on?
Khan is on the 4th problem, Futurama. Tufurama. Sorry about that.
Okay.
And I can show, not this, I can show the full statement here. Polycarp did blah blah blah. He was pretty surprised when he got results only for season 7 episode 3 with his search. Nothing interesting in terms of story. Then N seasons. each with some number of episodes, numbered 1 through AI. If for some pair of integers, both season X, episode Y, and season Y, episode X, then one of the search queries will include the wrong results. Calculate the number of such pairs. In particular, you can imagine this for sure as a drawing with columns of some length, and then it will be questioned how many there are points X, Y, such that YX also exists.
Interesting. That seems fairly straightforward. So we'll just see how fast he's able to implement this. Oh, interesting. Is he sorting the array?
I think it isn't that straightforward. For every row, you will need to kind of mirror this row into a column, and they say how many cells there are in this column, because lengths of rows are up to 1 billion, right? I think the query will become in some suffix how many numbers are greater than the value A.
And then you min with n, right?
And we count that. It's some kind of segment tree, in my opinion, but maybe can be done without a segment tree.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. This is not as straightforward as I initially thought it would be. But you take your matrix, you logically need to transpose it and then kind of like multiply the two. But since A can be so large, you kind of have to be clever about how you do the counting.
It will be some kind of range query because of that.
Right. So Egor hasn't made any edits to his code yet. That's kind of worrisome, but hopefully he is able to find his bugs soon. What is the issue?
Regarding what we talked about, the problem is Tufurama, the problem Kalinin is working on. It's like this. You're given some long rows with lengths up to 1 billion, and then we ask the following. If we take a row and now mirror it, so instead it's a column here, how many of those cells actually exist if they are part of other rows? In particular, maybe you would mirror a row into such a column, and then you would need to ask in this interval how many rows are of length greater than some value. And in particular, segment tree can do that. But Kalinin is using prefix sums, I believe. He has some. We'll see if it's prefix sums or not. Egor switched. Was it without getting accepted?
I don't think he resubmitted. I think he just maybe decided to move on.
Clinic robots is 600 pointer.
So
I
seems
think
like
he is afraid that Nicola is working on 600, and that would
Right.
be very bad.
Yeah, so Egor definitely has to play catch up and maybe employ a more risky strategy, just because he was unlucky on the alternating sum. Let's see, Kalini. Let's talk about Kalini's code here. Is he writing a seg tree as you said he would?
Is he actually submitting now?
Oh wow, it's already done.
Testing on input. He has BIT, Fenwick tree.
Yes, that looks right. Okay.
Yeah, fixing compilation
We just have
errors.
some compiler errors.
Also, from time to time, refreshing Egor's submission page.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah. And Egor revealed what problem he's working on by submitting.
Right. Yeah.
Egor did fix his
Oh, he did fix it. You're right. Oh, he just submitted it a minute ago. Okay, and he got accepted.
Then we have 500 to 300.
All right. Okay, so Yegor did not just abandon that problem. He fixed this bug.
And here's working on the second problem. Binary numbers and sum worth 200 points. Sometimes in the lockout matches, we use outcoder problems instead of code forces problems, and then statements are a bit shorter. That's a bit better for streaming and for viewing. But here, because of the number of matches, the chaos of organizing this tournament, the code forces problems are used instead, because there is a bot for that. There is a bot who takes two participants, takes proper difficulties and gives them problems they didn't solve before. It's harder to do with outcoder. There is a question. In Lockout, do you think it's better to debug or move on when you get wrong answer? Steven, your thoughts?
I think it depends on what problem you're working on and whether or not you still need that problem to win. Yeah, because the live scoreboard and the lockout aspect of the tournament, sometimes you might be working on a problem, and if you take too long, it'll become irrelevant after a while. Oftentimes the match becomes just whoever gets to 600 first, for example. But in Yegor's case, it is clear to him, I guess, that it is like a very small bug that he had to fix. So in that sense, it makes sense to keep working.
Egor is already implementing B, 200 pointer. If both participants now solve their respective problems, it will be 5 to 900, and then it's who goes first for 600. Maybe not who goes first, who solves it first, because they cannot solve a 100 pointer and just get 1100 for that. We have submission by
looks
Khan.
like Khan. And oh, he got accepted on Tufurama.
Nice.
So that is very good news for him. So that's the 400 pointer.
Actually, he can go now for 200 points.
Yeah.
If he doesn't know that Egor is solving it.
Yeah, I think Egor was smart and he's already looking at the 200. So I would guess that Yegor's going to beat him to it. And then at that point, it's just a race.
And now that's an interesting moment, if they both are going for the same problem.
Yeah, this is an intense moment. They're just racing head to head, and they don't necessarily know that they're racing head to head.
The last problem, cleaning robots, has quite complicated statement, so it might take them a lot of time even to comprehend it. We'll take a look later.
Let's look at the binary numbers in sum problem, because this is the 200 pointer, so we should expect it to be solved fairly quickly.
I guess if Egor is already testing, then maybe we'll see a submission very quickly.
Yeah, Egor definitely had a head start on this one. Yeah, it'll take a lot of luck for Khan to beat him on this one.
You're given two huge binary numbers, and you need to repeat the following process. As long as b is greater than 0, add to the answer the value of a bitwise and b, and then divide b by 2. I will show this for a moment. So we keep shifting b to the right by 1, and bitwise ending it with a. That seems like doing something with suffixes. Every one will hit some kind of suffix of a.
It seems like you can first AND a with itself, and then AND it at the end with b. Or, sorry, first AND b with itself, doing the suffix trick and then end all that with A.
Why would we do it? Because the answer will be the sum of values, sum of multiple bitwise ends. Right?
Oh, I see. I misread that. Okay.
Did we have a submission by Egor?
Would bitset be fast enough for this? Is one question I have, though.
It's always difficult to say. But yeah,
I think it could be.
We got a submission by Egor, and I think just some kind of suffix sums are enough there, because every bit one from one number will hit some suffix of the other. But now Khan has very bad situation because he's still working on B after Egor got it accepted.
Yeah, so this is a point where refreshing does really pay off.
Yeah. Can you mark it in bingo sync?
Yes.
Khan is now losing precious seconds. Egor already earlier took a look at this problem, at the last problem, so he's at least already maybe 2 minutes ahead.
Yeah, but as we know, on the hardest problem, often the time it takes to solve can vary a lot because, well, the time itself is going to be higher. For example, it might take each of them around 15 to 20 minutes or even more on expectation to solve this kind of problem.
Yeah.
Right. So it's still really anyone's game. I'm praying for Khan to take a look at the scoreboard. Maybe he has notifications off, so Discord isn't.
From time to time, he refreshed list of submissions by Egor, and it's bad that he's not doing it now.
Yeah.
I think it happened to me with our match, if I remember correctly, that I wasted some time.
Yes. Yeah, there's some technology that could help in this situation where it's like having Discord notifications on or having something that automatically refreshes the page for you.
Did I see correctly that Khan looked at Discord and still kept working on the problem? I think he already saw that Egor has 500 points and then the second problem is solved. He took a look but didn't read, maybe.
Oh, that's gonna get him to be stuck on this for even longer, I think, until he solves it, maybe.
Yeah, again, maybe he messed up which problem it is. What about that?
No, here he looked at it again.
That's very sad.
Does he think he's working on the 600?
He is now submitting 200.
Oh, come on. I think he might have forgotten which problem he's working on.
Yeah, I would say so. Oh, we can ask him just after the match ends.
Yeah. Well, let's see if he passes. Oh, he got wrong answer on test 3.
I hope he will not try to debug that.
Yeah, so this is a good time where instead of debugging, you should just move on in response to that earlier question from chat.
Yep.
On the other hand, we see Egor is starting to copy paste in some code that traverses a bidirectional graph. So that's exciting. It seems like he hasn't quite solved the entire problem yet, but knows at least that he wants to read in the input.
That's already some step.
Yes, for sure. Yes. Maybe it's a good time to read that problem in a bit more detail then. Cleaning robots.
Yeah. Or maybe before
it is
that,
a pretty big problem statement. So.
Let's take a look at other matches. And when we get back, maybe Khan already will switch to 600. And you will see everything properly here. This is what our two participants are seeing in Discord. There is a list of problems from 100 to 600. 4 of them are already solved, and now they can go for this one or this one. But 100 points will not give either of them a win. They need 1100 to have more points for sure than their opponent, even if the other guy absolves everything. So they need to go for 600. But this is not the only match. We also have match 1 between Roma, White and Umnik. And that ended with a win by Umnik. With 1100 points, I guess it's, what was that? 400, 500, and I guess a 200. Then we have match number 2.
Khan has resubmitted E, by the way, and he got accepted. Unfortunately, it's not going to give him any points. It'd be nice to see his reaction right now.
And I wonder his explanation. He's hitting match update, so maybe he still thinks.
Yeah, I think he did not. He's going to be disappointed.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see.
Should we just tell him, or?
I don't think so. Like.
Okay. Yeah, I think he'll just read it and understand. Because this is actually so tragic. Because he did a good job and he solved the problem.
And he thought a moment ago that he's going to win in a moment because 200 points is enough for him to win, but he didn't consider the fact that, well, it's already a solved problem.
Yeah.
There's also a possibility
he's just staring at the Discord.
There's also a possibility that he doesn't remember the rules properly.
I'd be.
But
I'd be very curious to know what is going on in his head.
I will let know the contest organizer, Geothermal, what is happening now. Whether he wants to put an announcement there.
Yeah, it seems like the bot is also having some latency issues.
Oh, I see.
But
Geothermal says that he will let Khan know.
Awesome.
Yeah, Geothermal is typing.
I haven't.
We'll see a message from him.
Oh, now's the moment of realization. Geothermal said the 200 was solved by Egor already. And
but now it's best to forget what happened and just focus on solving 600.
Yeah, I really hope he can put that behind him and solve the cleaning robots problem. It seems like a tricky enough problem that it's still perfectly feasible for him to come back and take it from Egor.
It's perfectly possible that Egor just struggles a little longer.
Yeah. All right. So this problem, cleaning robots. So you're given a tree, n junctions connected by n-1 roads, and the government of this tree wants to deploy robots. That's interesting.
Let me open the statement and show the viewers.
Yeah. So yeah, the government is defining T sub k to be the set of junctions which should be cleaned by the kth robot. So each robot has a task, which is a set of junctions. And in fact, every T sub k, every set of junctions forms a path. So it's not
so every robot needs to go through some path.
Yes, and in fact, the union of all paths covers the tree, covers all the nodes of the tree, not necessarily all the edges.
Is split into disjoint paths. Each of them needs to be covered by one robot. Is that right?
Yeah, no two robots share a common junction, so yes. It's a partition of the tree into paths. And your task is, oh, interesting. In addition to that, no two paths can be connectable. So, because apparently the citizens will complain about the inefficient operation if two robots could be merged into one robot's path.
Okay, so
that's an interesting constraint.
Okay, I see. Like here,
I
there
think
cannot
that means
be a
every
path 1, 3, and then 4, 6.
Almost translate to every path is maximal that it's chosen, but not quite, right?
And what we need to count the number of splits into such sets of paths?
Yeah, the number of feasible plans.
I see.
Interesting.
I'm surprised by the long statement then, if it's possible to explain it in such simple terms. Split a tree into disjoint paths so that no two paths would basically touch each other, that we can combine them into one longer path.
Exactly.
Assuming we got the statement correctly.
I think that is exactly what the statement is count the number of ways to split a tree into paths such that the paths are disjoint, fully covered a tree, and irreducible. And this actually seems like not like a mind-bogglingly hard problem. It feels like a tree DP could solve this with like maybe for each tree node compute 2 values. Use the DP.
I can cheat a little bit and look at tags of this problem, and indeed it is DP. Let's take a quick... We can take a very quick look at editorial. Oh, that's actually not a problem from Codeforce's contest. Instead, it's from ICPC regional contest. It might mess up the difficulty.
Ratings. Yeah, the ratings sometimes are off here. So, but yeah, in terms of the solution, I think what you can do is, and I'm actually looking at Egor's screen, and it seems like he has the same idea, is for each node, compute the number of ways to partition its subtree in each of 2 cases. One case is when the root of the subtree can be an end, as in the end of a path, and it wouldn't violate any conditions. And then the other case is where it cannot be an end, because maybe its parents has like, maybe its parent has an end. So if it were also an end, then it would be able to be merged with its parents.
I'm cheating by taking a look at the editorial, and it's longer than I would expect.
Maybe there's a bit more states.
To do it in linear time, of n, because indeed the number of states is small enough, but to combine them is very difficult.
Yes, because you might have to iterate over all your children and do potentially like an n squared kind of thing on your children. Right. In particular, like if you're deciding to pick your node as not an end, you have to pick 2 of your children to kind of extend your path in both sides too. And there's, if you have k children, there's k choose 2 choices for that.
But it will be k choose 2 with multiplied by those DP values of
so it's not at all easy.
Not really k choose 2, it's something else.
Yeah, k choose 2 things to iterate over and then some expression. So it is definitely kind of not straightforward to optimize that.
Also, we don't have that much time left because every round, I believe, is limited to 45 minutes, and they started 33 minutes ago. This means 12 minutes left. Only 12 minutes left, and if they don't solve, if Egor doesn't solve 600, he will lose. And even though Khan is behind, maybe he's more likely to win.
That is very interesting. I hadn't considered that. Yeah, I wonder if they have that on their mind right now. Because it's not very common for a lockout match to end by timeout. Usually someone hits 1100 points, at least in the open division.
But here the difficulty was messed up by picking problem from ICPC instead of Code Forces.
It seems like all the other rounds have finished already. This is the last match, right?
We can see the results here. Umnik beat Roma White. I don't see results from neal versus.
Oh, match 2 is still going on. Yeah.
We have Khan versus Egor here, and I will put a link to these brackets in the chat. Open brackets, but also this is not the only division of this tournament. We also have intermediate and closed. But this is the highest brackets, the open tournament. It's interesting that both matches that already have finished, it is 1100 to 0. That's not that common.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that one person was much better than the other. It's also luck involved. Even if there's huge difference of skills, it's a lot about the order of solving problems. If there is a strong participant solving 500 and 600, and you instead want to go in order 100, 200, and so on, you will get some points. You are in worse luck if you work on the same problem, your opponent does it first, you're then 1 minute behind because you don't see it immediately, and yeah, then you can get 0.
Yeah, I noticed in intermediate division, actually, only one match has fully completed, and that was match 2 in the intermediate division between Vassal Protsev and Skittles 1412. And that was also an 1100-0 result.
And also Steph Daska won kind of by forfeit. There wasn't an 8th player there.
Yeah, so also 0 points.
This is intermediate bracket. And there is also a closed one where it's also 1100 to 0. That's so unusual.
Yeah, something is in the air today with their lockouts.
But here we will have a match that will not finish with score of 1100 to 0 because it's right now 500 to 900, and Egor needs to solve the last problem if he wants to win. And he has, I think, 8 minutes left.
And he is not actively typing. If he's thinking, oh, he's scrolling through the Discord to check on the rules, maybe.
Do you still hear me? Because my internet partially went down.
Oh, yeah, the stream seems to be suffering a bit. We got a lot of Fs in the chat.
Yeah, but I hear you. And
yeah,
I think it will be up because now I can again see streams, their streams. Yep, I should be back.
Okay. Oh, stream is alive again.
Yes, it is. Good. Oof, that was scary.
Yeah, almost got locked out of your own stream.
Yep. I would hate to have to restart the computer. I have so many tabs open.
Yeah, streaming and restarting your computer just don't go well together.
Yep.
Um, yeah, Yegor, um, maybe we can try to read through his code and try to understand what his DP looks like.
We can take a look. This is his full screen. DFS 0 and 1 end. Yeah, just a lot of states depending on what is going on.
3 states.
Without proper explanation from him, we can guess most of it, but maybe not the logic for transitions.
Mm-hmm.
And Khan right now, he implemented less than that. But
I think his 0, 1, and 2 are how many children it's connected to.
It's sometimes a difficult choice whether you want to use arrays of size 3 or 3 variables. Sometimes variables are more convenient, though you can iterate over an array. With variables, if you don't make some constant names for them, like const int a is equal 0, stuff like that, then it's very easy to make a mistake. What Khan is doing right now, it's so scary. A single typo, single 1 instead of 0 or anything like that, you get wrong answer and it will be very hard to debug.
Yeah. But Khan is very experienced competitor. He's a legendary grandmaster on Code Forces. So I hope
he coordinated
I hope he knows what he's doing.
He coordinated a lot of Code Forces rounds as well.
Right. Yeah, he's a very big community figure. I'm looking at the two screens, and they look kind of similar. It's pretty exciting. They both, yeah, they're both trying to do this DP.
Russian hacker versus German hacker, who will win? I don't know sense in the chat if you know, but Egor is also originally from Russia. So it's more like Russian hacker versus German Russian hacker. Go Khan, go Egor. It's always a bit better. I don't know. It's more fun to cheer for an underdog, or actually for a person who is losing right now, maybe. And
yeah,
I cheer for Egor right now, that he will manage to do it in time.
Yeah, they have such different styles. Just looking at the two pieces of source code.
But there are only
really
4 minutes left.
Call. Oh, so he's only he's returning 3 variables in his DFS. So he's collapsing his 3 states into like a pair of like int comma pair int int. Yeah, so Errichto, is your preferred way to do 3DP the way Yegor's doing it, or the way Khan's doing it?
Actually, I often use arrays, but I use consts. Instead of typing 0, 1, or 2, I type I first do const int, let's say no children or something like that, some word is equal 0. So 3 names like that. And then I use arrays, but to access an element, I put a name because it's more meaningful. Disadvantage, this is more typing. Advantage, I can both iterate over an array if needed, and I can put a meaningful name. What about you?
Right. So I've tried multiple different styles. I think recently I actually like doing struct. So each function returns a struct I call node usually, which has named fields. For example, like 0, 1, 2, and then I write a separate function, a helper function that takes like a node and maybe another node and returns an aggregate state. So I try to like put all the transition logic in a separate function from the actual DFS. So I guess that is not an array, so you do lose some of the advantages there, though it's possible to use an array as an intermediate step if it really simplifies the logic.
It isn't often the case that you really need an array. I wouldn't expect it to help today with this problem.
Yeah, because this is more like how many elements are you choosing, and that is based on the 0, 1, 2. It's not something you can really iterate over because the code looks very different for each of the 3 cases.
I think it's not more than 1 minute left. We don't have an exact counter, but the match started at 43 past the full hour. So it should end at 28 past the full hour. And Can will likely win unless Egor is going to submit like right now.
I think he has to if he wants to have a chance, but maybe he knows that it's no use.
Who is the co-caster? With me is Steven. We will see his face and also mine in a moment when Egor and Can will join us for some post-match interview.
All right, so we should expect the round to end any moment now.
Yep, it should be this minute for sure. It's 28 past the full hour.
The bot should post a thing if it's still alive, but if not, maybe we can. Oh,
yeah,
here we go.
It's over, and Can is
the
winner.
Can is the winner. I think they're both still very deep in their problem solving. Can anyone tap them on the shoulder if they're in Russia or Germany?
I wonder
Egor, wake up.
Egor, do you hear us?
There we go.
Yeah, hello again. I guess I need about 5 more minutes to finish it up.
Yeah, you look pretty close.
Nikolai, you are muted if you hear us. What about now?
Oh.
Hi.
Oh.
Hi.
Congratulations, Nikolai, for winning, passing to the
good game.
Semifinals.
Thanks. Yeah, that was tough. Especially when I found that Egor is top 200. But somehow I missed it completely.
Yeah, we discussed that and we saw you looking at the screen where it was visible that 200 pointer is already solved for quite some time, and you looked there a few times.
Yeah. After I was told that 200 is solved, I reminded that only the first and the last problem remained in some, like, in the post here, but I didn't pay attention the first time.
Yeah, but fortunately it didn't hurt you too much. Egor had a big head start, but also the difficulty of this last problem was messed up because it's from ICPC regional contest, not from Codeforces run. It was harder than the difficulty you should get, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
So, Egor, was it about some bugs left, or did you were you finishing the logic?
Yes, I need just to carefully see all the cases, and
that the whole problem is about cases.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I also think that my code is more or less ready, but it doesn't work on example. Not sure.
What were the states that you guys were tracking in your DP?
So basically, going down, there can also either there is already two connected vertices to the vertex down, or there is one connected vertex, and then there is two cases. If it can, like, can I not
Extend it upwards, yeah.
extend it up or not?
Right.
So
It depends on whether its parent was an end or not, right?
do I get that
Depends on whether
correctly?
any of its child was.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going upwards. I see.
It's okay only if every other child is a parent of two children who are connected
Yes,
with them,
yes,
right?
it is. It is.
Can, is it the
Cool.
same for you?
Yeah, it's the same for me, but inside when I calculate, when I merge the children, I should have more states of DP depending on whether I already used my parent vertex or not, or whether there is some
Okay.
child that I already checked that has only one children, something like that.
Okay.
So it became complicated at some point.
Yeah. Sometimes merging children isn't easy, especially if there are more than two children and
Yeah.
you have some more intermediate states. So the last problem was a bit strange for sure. What about the previous ones? Was one of them nice, ugly? What do you think?
I still forget about the case when multiplier in the geometric progression is 1, apparently.
Oh, so division by 0, or
yes, and because like all my checks are only local, behind local, it was from answer instead of runtime error.
Oh, I see. So you have some asserts, like assert that this is not 1, but it is
more like
local.
if the local,
yeah,
then
yeah, I think I never do that. I prefer to get runtime error, and I know that there is a risk that I don't want to do it. It is slower, stuff like that, but
it is slower. That's why
see.
this checks are only local.
I see. Yeah, we didn't know what is the reason for your wrong answer on 9. We guessed overflows, but it wasn't the case. The answer you printed was 0 instead of something. That makes sense.
Nikolai, you had an overflow, right, on the binary numbers problem?
I have a what?
Overflow?
Yep, I forgot to take modulo somewhere because I thought like I don't want to copy my modulo template because it's only one function, and of course I forgot it somewhere.
That's
Well,
very
I don't need to copy anything.
poetic.
Yeah, I know. That's because I was a bit afraid.
Yeah, hubris. And then I saw you copy it in for your the 600-point problem. You did end up with your mock them.
Yep, I have a small template for modular arithmetics.
Yeah. Egor, I saw you had some pretty cool tricks with your command line that let you, like, you have the CF command line utility. Do you think that helps a lot for Lockout?
I guess so, at least. Like I have the same for Coder, and yes, it helps a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder if we're gonna start seeing as we do more high-level Lockout matches, if people will start investing in learning how to use those.
I think the E problem, the 500-point problem, was nice. I didn't expect so clear code there.
Tree painting?
Yeah. It was like, I first thought, okay, it's down DP and then up DP on tree, but it's usually not so nice as in this problem. It turned out to be very short, and well,
I see.
it went good.
Also, we saw you can from time to time refreshing list of submissions by Egor. Egor, did you do the same or not?
No, I hadn't.
Because realizing that your opponent gets wrong answer on some problem reveals quite a lot.
Sure.
Yeah, I
Probably
think
should,
I,
but
I saw this strategy on some Lockout stream by someone. I don't remember. And of course, I think it's very important.
But for most of the contest, I was pretty forced in my selection of problems.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Okay.
I guess in the contests where the 600-point problem is very hard, then effectively the total number of points is 1,500. And then
Yes.
if you know that 600 is not going to be solved, then you're racing to just 800.
But I still think 5 more minutes and I would solve.
Yeah, you're very close.
Okay, guys. Thank you a lot for this talk. Congratulations, Khan, for winning. Egor, maybe you want to join me for the next 1 hour to commentate on the next round?
Probably after a short break. Sure.
Okay, that's fine.
I will ping you in Discord.
Okay.
So, Nikolai, good luck in the semifinals, and I hope in the finals.
I hope in the finals I will talk to Camille again.
Yep.
Okay, see.
Good luck.
All right.
Bye.
And
Yeah, good
Egor,
luck.
you can join us again later.
So Khan, your next match is against. Oh, Khan is gone.
Yeah.
But
They are both
next
good.
match is against Eknerwala, so that'll be an exciting match.
Yeah, let's take a
And
quick
that
look
one-
at the bracket. Oh, and not this thing, this one. Now it's Umnik versus neal and Khan versus Eknerwala. Each of those 4 people are extremely strong. Egor was also extremely strong, but he lost. That happens.
Yeah.
neal versus Tsav was very intense. 1200, 900. That's close. Yeah, the next stream, the next match we will see here is Umnik versus neal. I need to prepare for that. So there will be a short intermission, and then we'll be back to you. But we'll see. Maybe at the beginning with Steven, maybe with Egor. Steven, is it fine not to say bye for you yet? Will you stay for a bit more?
Sure thing.
Okay. Then we will be back, hopefully in around 5 to 10 minutes. Hello again, everybody. What you're seeing on the screen is current brackets of the open division. Umnik will face Neal Wu, and Khan, whom we saw a moment ago, will face Ekner Wala. Umnik versus Neal, we will commentate on right now. Also, this is the intermediate brackets, where no match already happened. There are 2 matches to go, and also there is closed bracket, basically finals of that one. Yeah, we have everything set up here. Hello guys, Neal, Umnik, how do you feel? Oh, they didn't hear that. You can answer again.
Oh, good. Yeah, the last match was pretty close. Good stuff to Zaf. So we'll see how this one goes.
Yeah.
Umnik, you're ready as well?
I kind of just want to lose as fast as possible. But yeah, I'll try my best not to do that. But if I lose, that would be great.
Okay.
I have things to do.
That's some motivation right there.
Yeah, this is an intense match. Neither of you have faced each other before, right?
Yep.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Neal, do you also want to lose as quickly as possible?
I can't say the same for me, but yeah, we'll just give it a shot, see how it goes.
Sure.
Do our best.
You know, if you want to start, you're free to do so in Discord, just like every other match.
Okay.
So now
Yeah.
we are now seeing your screens. So on the left we have Neal Wu.
Maybe you can
USA.
do a small countdown from 10 right before you hit the final Discord bot command.
Yeah, that makes sense. But we will see them on the screen starting. There is a Discord bot for all these matches. Discord bot chooses problems for them, and then they get a list of 6 problems. And that's it.
Okay.
Neal Umnik, if you haven't already, then you can mute the website so you wouldn't hear me and Steven. And good luck to you.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So the Discord bot is getting set up, and I think as soon as it prompts them for alternates, it'll take like another maybe 30 seconds for it to actually create the round. And yeah, the opening of the very beginning of the round is often the most critical. If the 2 players open the same problem, it's a head-to-head race, and often we see the 500 point going first because it's often a very important problem to solve. So we're going to pay close attention to see what each of the 2 players' strategies are here. So yeah, in about 10 seconds, hopefully we'll see some problem statements, and we'll see the 2 strategies.
I guess we should do the countdown now, because any second the bot will give them problems. Right now, bot goes through his Codeforce's problems and tries to find problems of proper difficulty, such that none of them have solved those problems before. And it's the start.
All right, and it started. So yeah, let's see what each of them have picked as their first problems.
Neal is looking at his screen. So it is possible that he uses maybe 2 monitors, and then we will not see the statement.
That might be the case.
Yep, his screen will just show the code.
That's okay. We'll be able to see what he ends up picking once he codes.
Yeah. In particular, because he has 6 files, ACPP, BCPP, and so on, or actually CC. We will see on which problem he's working.
On the other hand, Umnik is opened the 400 point problem, numerical sequence, easy version.
That's
and he's already
400.
typing. Yeah, 400-point problem. That's an interesting start. I haven't seen too many people start with a 400.
Yep.
Maybe he's going for like 425 as the winning combination, or 416.
No, if you do 4 and then 6, then actually any other problem will do. So
right. So it definitely gives you a good like if you think you can definitely solve one of the 500 and 600, then it'll give you a lot of outs to finish, as long as your opponent doesn't get all 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
But if Neal is able to solve all of 1, 2, 3, then the 400 problem is worthless.
Exactly. Umnik is already coding.
And
This might be an easy problem.
not started coding. That leads me to believe Neal probably is not working on 1, 2, or 3, because he would have probably started coding right now. Yeah, so I think just from the strategy, I think Umnik chose a pretty good one, because it's unlikely that Neal will be able to get all the easy ones first.
In this problem, numerical sequence, and Umnik is solving this problem, we have sequence 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, such increasing blocks. Calculate the digits at position k. We need to answer such a query multiple times. Isn't this very trivial? Like,
I think Umnik agrees.
yeah, I think this should be worth 100 points here, or maybe 200. I have some idea why the difficulty is again messed up, because it's a problem from division 3.
So the calibration might be off there.
Yeah.
Neal still has not started typing. I wonder what he is going for.
So what happens in this problem is we have a block of length 1, then 2, 3, 4, and so on. And you can easily either get a formula or just binary search in which block our digit will be. For example, if we are looking for 12 digit, then we know that before that there is block of length 1, 2, 3, 4, in total 10. So then the remaining is 2, and 2 is the answer.
Umnik has made a submission, I think. Or about to click submit.
And we see Neal working on the 5th problem.
Aha.
Maybe a good strategy is to open all problems and check from which contest every problem comes from.
Gaming the metagame, huh?
Yeah.
That
Codeforce's problem difficulty isn't perfect.
That is a very interesting strategy. Okay, so Neal is setting up his vectors, reading in the input. Interesting. So this is, I haven't read this problem, but he is typing very fast. I think he knows what he's doing.
In that problem, n is up to 300, so I will already guess that it's dp.
In some kind of n cubed.
Maybe. Yeah, I scrolled down and I see dp tag, so I was right.
Umnik made his submission and it passed. All right, so 400 points to Umnik, right?
Yep. Now he needs to choose the next problem to work on.
So yeah, this is an interesting choice, because he has a lot of options here.
But if he goes for example, Ilian tasks, Ilian roads, this is what Neal is working on. But then now he's looking at 600.
Mm-hmm. I think 600 would be good, but he needs to make sure he also gets the 100 then, because otherwise, if Neal gets all the other problems first, then it's still risky.
Yeah.
So if I were Umnik, I would read the 600-point problem, and once I feel like confident that I can solve it first, then I go and solve one of the 1, 2, or 3.
I think he hasn't decided yet. He looked at both Ilian roads, which is 500. He's looking at it right now. and the Alex had complicated task, which is 600.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this is I think he should expect Neal to be working on the 500, because opening with the 600 is quite risky.
But also, it makes sense to look at, for example, statement length, stuff like that.
Yeah.
We already saw today how crazy order people can solve problem in just arbitrary order. Yep, Umnik is doing 500 and he will be likely behind.
Interesting.
They are working on the same problem. And it happens because they do not know. They don't see each other's screen.
Yeah. I think it would have been very exciting to see Umnik just like try to solve both the 500 and the 600 on paper, or at least make progress on both of them before committing to any. But perhaps he thinks he can code this extremely quickly and possibly beat Neal even with the time advantage that Neal has. How is Neal doing?
Well, Neal has a bit more code already. And now I need to fix the order of screens a little bit. Egor hopped in and he's taking place of Neal apparently. That's
oh, Neal.
Well, let me take his place in the semifinals as well.
Well, this is how it works, right? Okay, temporarily we do this. Now you're Umnik instead. At least Neal is correct.
Yes, okay. I guess it's even more chances. No, sure.
And now I need to find...
You should decide after you see the results which one you want.
Oh, yes, that's a good idea.
Yep.
Actually, if you want some update, I finished the problem. It took a little bit more than 5 minutes, but less than 10.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Was it the only reason why you wanted to wait with joining us?
No. I had some things to do as well, so.
Okay.
So I see. I don't know anything about the problems, but I see that Umnik started with 400, which is quite interesting because if you assume that all the problems would be solved, this one is usually kind of irrelevant because someone solves 500, someone solves 200 and 300, and then they race for the 600.
Yeah,
that's true. 400 is often just skipped.
But if you only look at it from that perspective, it does make 400 look like a bad choice. But positionally, I think it makes it very hard for your opponent to counter your strategy because they don't know exactly what you're going to be going for, because it gives you so many options. For example, if you solve 400 and 600, you have 3 different problems that could give you the win. So it's hard for your opponent to cover all of them. And similarly, after 400, you can read both 500 and 600 and minimize your chance that you get locked out by not committing to either. So it is
Do we
a
have
viable
a submit
strategy.
by Umnik?
Oh, yeah, he is
We do,
submitting
that's fast.
Ilya and Rhodes. Yeah. Are we about to see like a 1200-0 win?
He actually
That'd be
submitted
exciting.
before checking sample tests. Because
Well, there is no real penalty for wrong submissions. Only
Yeah.
one is that the opponent knows what you are working on.
And he got accepted without testing his code at all.
Well,
That is
no.
no, not yet.
I think it was wrong answer on some tests. No?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think it's
I'm not
just
sure.
because of Twitch delay. And...
No, it was accepted.
Accepted. Okay.
Okay.
Wow, that is quite a move. Passing all 77 tests
So now all he needs
without
is
running his
200.
code once.
And he decided to open 300. He doesn't need that, but it's a fine choice.
I
think it's the unexpected
I guess
choice.
he thinks that Neal would switch to 200 SAP, and he want to kind of outplay him by choosing 300 instead.
Yeah, no, this is Nick. He's always been one of the strongest competitors in Code Forces, so he probably wants to kind of make a statement here with the 300.
Oh, what we
Neal has
saw there is a
yet.
wrong submission by Neal on 500.
Oh, I see. So that's very unfortunate for Neal. I wonder which one was first, his or Umnik's?
It was almost at the same time. I'm checking the status right now.
Chat is right now surprised by Umnik not even testing. But you know, chat, it's actually very, very common. In Code Forces, also, you don't get wrong answer penalty if you get wrong answer on test 1. So if you want to get first to solve on, for example, A in Code Forces round, you don't even care about samples, you just submit or test on sample 2, not even sample 1. And here there is literally no penalty for wrong submission. So whenever you think that you have something reasonable, just submit and then think.
The only reason I actually run tests before submitting is because running test also compiles my source file, which I then submit from my library and code I written. So I can't really submit without running.
It's very disciplined.
I think it's safe to say that Neal right now switched to some other problem. Let's remember that on his other screen, he sees statements.
Do you think he is going for 300 or 200?
Because he took a bit longer, then it suggests it's 300.
Yeah, I think so too. And Umnik is still actually not started typing?
It's b.cpp. He's doing 200.
Yes, he's doing 200.
Okay. Yeah, get that first.
Umnik still reading.
That's interesting. It seems Umnik solved the 500 so quickly.
Yeah. That's the thing with DP. If you quickly see how to do it, the code is so short, so you can as well do it in 5 minutes.
That's right.
Oh, my erase.
So Umnik is also doing the 200.
Erase with Maxen.
Yeah, so at this point, Umnik has to realize that Neal knows what's going on.
So first, maybe, Egor, is it correct to assume that you only accept vectors?
Actually, I have my own array, but it's collection, not a naked array. It gives, like, if you really have a fixed border, it gives something like 10% performance gain over vector. Something like that. Because it doesn't do some invariants that vector do.
Wow, I'm watching these two guys type. They're both so fast. It's crazy.
They are. But kind of almost all people in the top are fast. One slow guy who is at least close or maybe at level of legendary grandmaster is Makoto, RNG 58. I think he types very slowly.
I type two fingers as well, so.
But do you get more than, I don't know, 50 words per minute?
I don't know. I never really tried.
Okay.
But I basically type with two fingers and then use my thumb for space.
There is a question on who is commentating. We have Steven, me, Errichto, and Egor in bottom right here.
Hi.
But let's get back to the screens. Likely they are both working on easy problems, so it's about speed. And Neal doesn't know that, but Neal should now hope that Umnik makes a mistake and gets stuck for 5 minutes. That's the only hope for Neal.
Yeah, I'm surprised Umnik hasn't checked the scoreboard yet. Like, if he sees that Neal has already finished the 200, he needs to switch to 300 now. But maybe he's also does not want to lose focus. So
I think
very
sometimes
reasonable.
Umnik just cares about solving a problem rather than thinking about strategy. Remember that he doesn't do hacks in top-coder rounds. That already says something. So challenge phase in top-coder is opportunity to get some additional points, but he doesn't care about it.
So I'm
All right,
correct.
Submit.
Neal just got an accepted submission.
But we have now submit from Umnik as well, so.
Oh, but I think let's check the timing.
No, I mean
I'll
on 300, so.
Timing will not matter.
Are you sure? They submitted on the same
Yes, I think
problem.
so.
Timing will not matter because it's not the same problem. It's 200 versus 300.
No, Umnik was working on the 200. They were both working on exams.
Interesting, and he was late.
Oh,
So
and
now
his was just a bit after.
It wasn't
So
Rebus.
now they will.
Yeah, they were both accepted.
Sprint on 300.
Yeah, this is a sprint on. Wow, I've never seen a contest this close. This is very exciting.
I wouldn't say close because it's currently 900 versus 200. So you need to win on 300 and then win on 600. So it's kind of.
Do I see correctly?
Still not very close.
Umnik switched to 600 actually.
Interesting.
Maybe he doesn't want to race.
He doesn't even want to race. Yeah, Umnik is very good at solving hard problems.
Or like he don't want to race easy and want to have a head start on the 600.
Yeah, well that's enough to win.
Actually, if no one solves 600, he already won. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna update the colors.
As to close matches, I think my elimination match was quite close because I think I lost something like for my opponent did 400 and 300 before I get any points, and then I solved all the remaining problems.
Yep. But the most interesting thing was that in last half an hour, basically you raced for the same problem. You were behind in points, but you had more time for that. So it was an even match. While as is question mark, Umnik has some code. No, he's removing that.
Let me try to open the problem to read it. So it is match number 1, yes?
This is match SF1, yes. I can show everybody. This is what we see. This is what participants see. Rebus is 300, and then Alex and complicated task is worth 600. The 300 is something about question marks. We need to put numbers. What do we do? The goal is to replace each question mark with some positive integer from 1 to n such that equality holds. That's just it. Seems like a constructive problem. Yeah, in problem tags there is constructive problem. Then there's Alex and complicated task, which is something more complicated.
I'm reading it now, yes.
So let us know.
Sure.
Umnik is, even though he opened statement of 600, he's typing 300. There is equality and plus. They race for that problem, that constructive problem. I will paste the link to a problem in the Twitch chat.
Oh. Okay, so the problem is like this. You have a sequence of numbers,
yep.
And then you want to select a subsequence of those numbers, such that its length is divisible by 4.
Okay.
And in each 4 subsequent numbers, first is equal to the third and second is equal to the fourth. So it's something like AB, AB, CD, CD, EF, EF, something like this.
Okay. Quick look at the statement. Indeed, we're given a sequence. We choose a subsequence, and now in this subsequence you choose the pattern needs to hold AB, AB, XY, XY, and so on. 4 consecutive numbers. The first must match the third.
Yeah.
By the way, if you are following the other semifinal between Eknorwala and Khan, the current score is 900 to 0 in favor of Eknorwala. He has the 400 and 500. So a kind of similar strategy to Umnik, actually. He also he did the 400 and 500, but I guess he did 500 first.
Yeah, it was the other order. 500 was done first. Steph Daska will stream intermediate finals on YouTube. Once this starts, the other order. Once this starts, I will put a link again in the chat on Twitch.
So how to solve this? So I need some quadruplet, the 10th earliest.
I'm thinking more about this Rebus problem and looking at their counts.
Let me open it as well.
Yeah. I think they are both close to submitting.
Oh, if it's from Croc, I think I should probably have solved it already.
We have submit by Umnik and possibly submit by Neal already happened.
Oh, every time. Well, Neal got accepted, but Umnik is still. Oh my god.
It happened again. Poor Umnik.
This is literally every single submission he makes is like a few seconds after.
Okay, I will mark that in Bingo Sync.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, this one goes to Neal again by 22 seconds. So now Neal just needs the 600.
Yeah, they both need 600. If neither of them solves it, then it's game for Umnik.
Yeah.
As for Rebus, it seems pretty easy in the sense that you have basically plus or minus before each number, and for it to be solvable, for there to be a solution, the number of pluses times 10 should be more equal to the number of minuses.
Okay. Is that the only condition?
Yes, I think that's the only condition. And then you kind of put 1 to each minus and distribute enough for each plus.
Okay, but what if you put even just 1 for every plus, you will already exceed n?
But how is... Oh, wait a second. Okay, yes, and also number of pluses should be less than n. Okay, less or equal to n.
I think you need to distribute, like, if there is too many of one type of characters, you put 1 there and n on the other type.
Yes.
Yeah,
They should be like, yes, on the correct side, yes. You're right.
But anyway, now they both need to work on the last problem, F.
So let's think about it.
The Alex and complicated task we mentioned earlier. It's the one where we need to choose quadruples, subsequences of size 4. Do they need to be consecutive? Consecutive 4s?
Subsequent. No,
subsequent, so no.
So samples don't even show it, but it's okay to... for 4 consecutive numbers in the output not to be consecutive in the input.
Correct. So it seems like you want to greedily pick your quadruples to advance you as little as possible in the original sequence.
So
Sure, but how?
So
but how? That is the question. But
Yes.
Kind of.
Once you answer that, then you greedily do it.
So basically, you go one by one. When you meet the number second time, you need to see if you have if you do this 2 times, you need to do this at least to meet at least 2 such numbers, and then they either intersect or lie in one another. If they lie in one another, that's bad, and if they intersect, that's good.
Yeah. What about this then? When we see a number, we go from left to right. When we see a number and it already happened before, then in some segment tree, we add +1 to interval from your first occurrence to this new occurrence. And now when some next number happens, we check if your previous occurrence lies in position where there is +1.
Well, you can have several previous numbers.
Yeah. Well, you can have at most 2 previous, because if there are 3 previous occurrences, then you can just pick like XXXX.
That's correct.
Oh, then what about this? When you have that first pair, a 1 and 1 in the last sample input, you go through this with brute force and mark everything as good. Good means you are good first element of a pair. I mean, you iterate the
yes,
internal.
It seems. Wait a second. It can be that there is like a like 1, 2, 2, 1. We need first to mark everything between 2s and then everything between 1s. And if we do it, it's better to go with segment trees. Actually.
Yeah, I wanted to say that first consider brute force, but then I would do it with a set and lower bounds to keep marking some new elements as good. And good
What
means
do you mean by
you're a
set?
good candidate for first element of a pair.
Just catching up on Twitch chat, by the way. It sounds like there's a cartoon in the background, they say. So maybe we have some open tabs on accident. And also, they haven't started coding yet. They're both still reading the problem and thinking about it. Yeah. Yes.
I would still prefer something like segment tree here, because segment tree surely works. And
I will do a simple drawing to see if we are on the same page here. And I would say that both segment tree and the set work. As we go from left to right, when we see a number, let's for a moment assume that it has 1 previous occurrence. We need to, in some way, go through this interval and mark everything as good. Good means you're good first element of a pair.
Sure.
So if there is y here, now I know if I encounter any y in the future, I have a quadruple.
Of course.
Yeah. So, and to mark some interval as good, segment tree or a set, not to mark something twice.
But with a set, you can theoretically try n squared sets. It's something like ABC, CBA.
But I want to mark everything only once. From set, I keep erasing. This is set of still bad elements.
Oh, there is a set of still bad elements.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, that's probably works as well.
Something like that. If now x has a lot of previous occurrences, I just look at the first occurrence of x. Or actually, it doesn't matter because I marked everything
actually,
here.
Actually, you should look at the last occurrence of x.
Those are already marked. So
yes,
just the most recent occurrence, indeed.
Maybe you can delete yourself when you mark as well, and that handles the case where it happens multiple times.
But no, you can't just delete it.
You're not a good first element, I guess. But still, I think we have n log n.
But when you encounter some element first time, you actually should take it as a quadruple.
Yeah. And what does Umnik have? There is a node, a segment tree then. Node has LR and value.
Okay.
This is just standard segment tree with a single value. Apparently this is how he writes it.
He's doing min.
Min. Maybe it is the leftmost element then?
So he wants to be able to query the
Get
leftmost.
leftmost lower. I'm not sure
you do
yet.
some other solution.
Yeah,
because
it doesn't seem to be the same.
Okay, so he's doing this kind of like binary search on a segment tree in log time.
They have 13 minutes left.
Meanwhile, it seems the other match ended.
Oh.
Yeah. Eknerwala
beat Khan 1200 to 200.
Yep. And what we're watching right now is the other semi-final, Umnik versus Neal. In the finals, we'll get Eknerwala versus Umnik or Neal, whoever wins this match. Also, intermediate bracket is here. Still no winner of this match above. But Stevdaska will face somebody else in the finals and he will stream it on YouTube. I will put a link once this match starts. Neal is still thinking. Answering question from the chat. Finals will start whenever semi-finals finish. The upper time limit for a match is 45 minutes. If they don't, if nobody gets 1100 points until then whoever has most points wins. And Neal and Umnik, they have a bit more than 10 minutes left. And there is no loser bracket. Here it's, if you lose, you're out. Do you guys get the solution by Umnik? What exactly he's going to do? Wait, does he sort elements?
Huh.
He will do something for every element?
So he's normalizing it so that he... Oh, interesting. Oh, we don't need to read his notifications. Yeah, so he's normalizing it to all fit in 1 through n, or 0 through n.
I don't see how I would use that in solution we talked about. He builds a segment tree. And what then? He goes from biggest values, I believe, or maybe from the end of the array. None of this makes sense to me because going from the right isn't easier in any way than going from the left. Also, values, small versus big, does it matter? XS size is the number of values. I think we again hear that cartoon in the background. while we're watching Umnik code, I will explain the rules again for those of you who have just joined. What is going on is these are today finals of Lockout championships. We have 8 people in the quarterfinals. Already now we are down to 4, and one of the 2 semifinals ended with Eknerwala winning against Khan. We're watching match of Umnik versus Neal Wu, and they are racing for the last problem. Racing because they are given 6 problems with worth 100 points, 200 points, up to 600. And when the time ends, whoever has more points wins. This means that if you get 1100, you secure the win. In total, the problems are worth 2100 points. So 1100, no matter what your opponent does, is enough to win. But also when the timer ends, there is some tiebreaker. But right now, if they don't solve anything for the next 10 minutes, the match will end. Umnik wins with 900 points versus 500. Neal needs to solve the last problem, 600, and he needs to do it fast before Umnik and before the time runs out. We're seeing him on the left right now, coding quite fast. This is not a good idea. But Umnik already started like 5 or 10 minutes ago, so he's ahead, both in points and in this last problem. And it seems that Umnik will most likely win.
Egor and Errichto, do either of you understand a segment tree beats data structure?
Yes, but Umnik isn't using that because he doesn't have so many values to lazily pass.
Yeah, I saw Neal copy paste his segment tree
did
books
he?
code.
That's
think so.
interesting. Let's look at his screen.
Yeah, maybe it's just overkill.
Umnik
Yeah, this is a
now
div 2 problem.
Sorry?
This is a div 2 problem, so I'd be surprised if it required that crazy data structure.
Is it division 2E or F?
Yeah, div 2E.
Chat, do you want this general view or should we watch blue or red screen?
Seems like Umnik hadn't realized that it is enough to do greedy, and that's why he have additional data structures.
Oh, okay. Instead of finishing as early as possible, are we actually sure that greedy is good? Can there be any issues about that? So can it happen that we can... Wait. No, I don't see any issues. We just can greedily go from left to right.
Can you explain the greedy again?
The greedy idea for greedy would be to start from the left and finish 4 numbers as early as possible. Whenever you see a possibility to have the pattern of AB, you do that. So the last B,
for sure,
you want it to be on the left as much as possible. And instead,
yes, that's for sure.
What maybe Umnik wants to do is for every position find the earliest, the shortest interval that ends exactly there, and then you need to reach from some other data structure than what happened on the left, I guess. I'm not sure if it's that.
Well, he's making a submit, so we'll see soon enough.
It's first
he got
and then...
accepted.
Is it accepted?
Yeah, he got accepted. So
okay.
That's the match.
Well, GG.
That's impressive from Umnik. 1,500 points. Wow.
Nice.
Here, I'll let you guys talk because soon there will be too many casters.
Yeah.
But I'll stay in the chat for sure.
Yeah, thank you, Steve, a lot for joining us today, and see you in the chat.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.
We need to wait for Neal to realize that already Umnik has solved the last problem. And the final score is 1500, so 1500 points versus 500. Obviously now the match ends because doing the last 100 doesn't change the winner. Umnik, you said that you're going to lose as quickly as you can.
Well, I also said that I'll try my best not to do that. That was very frustrating experience.
Yeah.
You could see that I submit last 3 problems without compiling them locally.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it worked at the beginning, but I guess not anymore. So I'll have to restart Sublime before the final.
okay. Yeah, so I guess also you should consider downgrading the stream quality even more. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not sure that it's a problem. I don't know. Like I had some troubles with OBS before,
okay.
but I thought that what it was because of my graphic tablet, but looks like it's worse than that.
So is it a case now that compiling takes just a lot of time for you?
I'm not sure what's the problem.
Okay.
Like it worked in the beginning, right?
Okay.
It wasn't very fast, but
What we can also try is that you will just stream your screen in Discord instead of Twitch, so without OBS. That should eat less resources. And
yeah,
I will be able to grab that screen.
okay, that's great.
Yeah, we'll do that. Neal is still implementing. Yeah.
That's the right thing to do. Like yesterday on TCL stream, you saw that. Okay, during challenge phase, I just continued to debug my heart.
But do you ever do the challenge phase? Do you ever try to hack other people?
No.
Hey guys.
Oh, hello, Neal.
Hello.
Nice job, Umnik.
Yeah. Good game. Actually, Neal, twice you snapped the easy problem just before Umnik did. 300, 200. You were lucky there a little bit.
Yeah.
But it wasn't enough. Yeah, the final score is 1,500 points versus 500. Neal, did you like the problems? Were you close to solving the 600?
I think I have a solution. I just got wrong answer on test 6, so I'll probably have a bug, but yeah, I'll have to see if it actually works.
Something with a segment tree?
Yeah.
But
with a couple different, or just, a DP on when's kind of the earliest you can grab 4.
Did we see you copy segment tree bits? Or do you read... Is your segment tree just something very basic or not?
No, it's actually beats.
Okay.
So I kind of had a sledgehammer idea here. So I'm still not 100% sure it works, but I would have to try to just debug
Seems
this and
to
see.
be an overkill. Nick,
Probably,
you had some
yeah.
basic segment tree, nothing more, right? Or not?
Yeah, just some combined with sec tree on minimum. But yeah, I had to do something, like some binary descent on tree.
With Egor and Steven, we talked about greedily going from the left, and then when you see value x, you check the previous value x, and everything between them we mark as good first element in a pair, something like that. Does that ring any bells? Is it similar to any of your solutions?
How do you? That sounds kind of n squared. How do you avoid?
Yeah, you can have a segment tree or set for that. I would say a set. So imagine a set with bad elements. And
okay.
when you have x and you check the previous x, you go multiple times with lower bound in a set to erase those elements in between and to tell them, hey, you would be a good first element of a pair. So, your next
and
element.
then when you see the next one,
yeah,
that is equal to a good element. Yeah, that makes sense.
And when you have quadruple, you just start anew, basically.
Yeah, so the basic, very basic idea is we go from left to right and it's greedy. We want to finish as early as possible.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. The set works nicely there.
Segment tree works as well. You just mark all the elements with +1, and if this element is non-zero, then you're good.
Egor, you need to continue the talk for a moment. I need to do something with geothermal.
Sure. So it was quite exciting, despite Alexei leading 900-0 at some point. But we thought that Alexei had gone for 300 instead of 200, which would probably be a good strategy.
Yeah, it was. I pretty much thought it was over once, because I was working on the 500, and then he actually got it before me, and so at that point, it's kind of like, well, he has a lot of different problems that would give him the win. I think it was 200, 300, and 600, and so it's like almost a done game at that point. But then I actually managed to get the 200 right before him and the 300 right before him, so. We got pretty close again after that point.
Okay, why did you go to 400 first? It's most of the time is irrelevant for the final score. For example, if you subtract 400 from your result here, you still win.
Yeah. The reason is that this was an easy version of some problem, and most of the time they have like overestimate score for them because like many people just try to solve both versions at the same time and don't submit easy version. So easy versions of most problems are just like stupid write what is written in the statement, but they have a large rating on code forces.
Oh, I see. That's a good thing to notice.
Yep. Yeah, but it wasn't correct this time, but I think it should work in the long run.
So, would you tell us your tactics for the finals?
Sure. If there is a problem which is the easy version of something, I will go for it. Probably.
Okay.
That's some simple strategy right there.
Yeah.
But, well, given total number of problems on the code forces, I think it's quite improbable.
Yeah.
I mean, probability is not that big that there would be one. I wonder what will happen if both easy and hard version of some problem somehow end up on the same match.
Yeah, that would be fun.
But I think it would be easy to realize from the list of problems, right? Because you see the names.
Yes. But it would change tactics, I think, quite a bit.
Yeah, basically, you should just go for that first. Most likely.
Or not. Like it can be a rather hard problem for some reason. I don't know. So I don't know, Camille, will we have the same difficulties for the finals?
That's the question to Geothermal, and I don't know if he decided about it. Umnik, do you know? Because that actually affects you most.
I don't even know who I will be competing with.
Looks like it's Andrew. So I'm making Andrew.
Okay.
I'm making Eknerwalla.
So I guess we can congratulate Connor Wang, who won closed division.
Oh, we have a winner of the closed division. I can show that
Yes.
right now here. Yep. Connor Wang, 38. Won the closed division with a very close match. 1100 versus 1000.
Oh, nice.
So they solved all problems, and it's just that Connor Wang got 100 more. Congratulations. We have 3 divisions here. It's open, intermediate, and closed, depending on your rating. So this is like division 2 point half, something like that. Congrats. Yep. And now we are working on maybe streaming both open finals and intermediate finals, but that's difficult to do. Neal, do you want to be in the commentary team for the finals?
Sure, I could do that.
Okay, done. You're hired.
That might have been the quickest job acceptance of my life. Are we waiting for some setup from Geothermal?
Yeah, there are some decisions going on there, but we will, I guess, wrap up this talk in a moment, and then there will be 5 to 10 minutes intermission again. Yeah, so
Sounds good.
Umnik, congrats for winning. Even though you got unlucky with 200, 300, and you got compilation errors. I mean, not errors, you couldn't compile, and that's quite inconvenient. We'll change the streaming format for you for the finals. Hopefully it will be better. And yeah, still, very good game.
Actually, Alexei, had you thought about using command line tool? Because I think you could like be quicker than Neal if you would use it. You wouldn't need to copy your solution, open, submit, stuff like that.
What do you mean by using command
There is a
line?
command line tool where you can just like submit from command line.
Wow. That's great, but yeah, no, I don't have it installed, I guess. Yeah, I'm not trying to like optimize everything, micro optimize my participation in contest. I guess it's don't like it doesn't work for that kind of competition because you have to optimize everything.
Well,
Yeah,
you at least like you changed your tactics from usual competition because you submit before you test on samples, so it's
wow, yeah. Obviously, I should do that, and now I can't even test on samples. But yeah, I also probably could like switch back to Vim and compile from console. I think it's faster. Like I had some troubles before with the Sublime and the plugin I use. Too much work.
Well, anyway, you're still in the finals. And people who use different tools are still out, so like me. So probably you do it right. So should we have an intermission here, Camille?
Yes, that's right. Thank you, Egor, for joining me for the commentary.
Sure.
Yep. Alexei and Neal, do you want to say anything more before the finals?
I just hope it'll be a good match between these two.
Yep.
Amek and Ekrola.
I will have to leave the meeting for restarting basically everything.
That's fine. Just join later with the same link.
Okay.
Cool. See you guys, and to everybody in, again, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, we'll get the finals. Umnik versus Eknerwala. Those maybe not necessarily are two exactly strongest, but I would say they are in top 3, top 4, hard to say. They are among the strongest, so it will be a very interesting match. And also in the background we will follow the other match in the intermediate division between Stevdaska and Ksani, Csani. So see you then. What's up, chat? Still, the intermission is ongoing because the two participants of the finals are preparing for the finals. Hello there. The stream right now sees you.
Yeah.
Okay.
At some point, I guess I should mute and stuff. Oh, the stream. Am I live right now?
Yeah, we are live. Basically,
hello.
If you want, you can do whatever right now. I will talk with the chat.
Yeah. I am setting up my notification to go live.
So, what's up, chat? Is showing problem tags in code versus allowed? No, it isn't. It's easy to forget about that, and it happened to me also in this tournament before I got out of the tournament, that I forgot to click it. And then, the first problem where I see the tags, I try not to look at them, I go to my settings and I hide the tags because there is such an option. Umnik needs to restart his computer.
Okay.
Basically,
Sounds good.
We killed his laptop a little bit with the requirement of streaming to Twitch.
Yeah, I guess it is some overhead, but hopefully it'll be fine.
Depends on the laptop, of course, for sure. Umnik will now just share his screen on Discord. It is less convenient for me because then I cannot switch to any other tab. But if otherwise he's not able to compile in his laptop, or he needs to wait 2 minutes, well, that's priority.
Yeah.
How did you like your previous match? Congrats on getting to the finals.
Yeah, they were pretty good. I kind of just oh my god, my Chrome is so dead. I kind of just brute forced my way through by starting on hard problems, or by starting on the 500 and being faster. So I think I sniped both of my opponents that way. So I got kind of lucky there.
In this other semi-final, Neal twice snapped an easy problem just before Umnik did. It was like twice seconds. It was 200.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure about my strategy for this one. I don't know if I can just assume that I'll be as fast as Umnik on the 500. So I might end up mixing it up a little bit more.
I can tell you something about Umnik's strategy. He said, if there is a two-step problem, like there's easy version and hard version, sometimes in the title it is like, let's say, John and Toys, in brackets, easy version. Then he said he's going for that one.
Well, best of luck to him. I'll just take. I mean, if he wants those problems, I can take the rest. So that's fine by me. But yeah, we'll have to see. I'm not really sure. The difficulty, I still don't really have a great sense of what the difficulty rating numbers mean. So we'll see. All right, I'm gonna start streaming. With all my. Hopefully this thing is set up properly. I can run an ad break.
It works. I already see your screen.
Cool.
I will hide it for now, but just...
I don't think there's anything happening. I have a keyboard display in the upper right, and let me know if you want me to move that.
No, just make everything convenient for you. I will adjust the screen.
Yeah, sure. I mean, this doesn't even show up on my own display, so I can actually put it wherever I want to know. Yes, so let me know if you'd rather.
Okay, maybe then I should look at that. What are you saying that is in corner?
The keystroke display in the upper right. Let me know if you want me to move it.
Of this thing. doesn't matter. You code on the right and statement on the left, or what?
Yeah. I code on the right, so I'll just leave it on the right.
Yeah, like I don't think it's an issue. It's very small anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe while we wait for Umnik, I will tell you viewers a little bit about this strange setup. What happens is we have a background, and this background, I have PNG file, and it covers some parts of the screen. So actually, when I move this around, you can see that Eknerwala's stream is visible in some parts of the screen because only those are visible. So yeah, if I do this and then I shorten this a little bit, you will see it properly on the left side. I wasn't sure if this is the best setup, but at least it's more complicated, but if needed, I can move screens around. But also you can see this, so I can switch to the full screen for each participant. We have a cat cam.
She's very lazy. Let me actually put this over here.
Doesn't he try to go to, the keyboard or just laptop, whatever you have?
Right now she's a little bit too tired to jump on the desk or the keyboard, but she sometimes does, and then I have to pull her off. Hopefully she doesn't do that during the contest. But let me not share this link public. That'd be good. Maybe I should even move this to... Yeah, this is fine.
I hope that chat will not request from me doing CAD-CAM full screen. I would still prefer to see the codes. Oh, I will take a look at maybe the other finals, if that started. But I think they also have issues because one of participants' power went out. And
everyone is restarting their computers.
Andrew, how was your last match? I didn't actually get to see any of it.
It was pretty good. I sniped the 500, I think, and then after
that's
that,
big.
It's pretty much all over.
Yeah.
I think I think a lot of people have been starting 500, and if everyone starts 500 and you think you're faster, like it's just good for you. So, yeah.
Yeah, that happened to me actually. I got sniped on the 500, and then I figured it was pretty much over, but actually I managed to snipe him twice and then bring it back to the last problem.
But the one thing is I'm not like another reason that like going for the 500 early is okay is because I'm pretty confident that I can solve harder problems faster than like some of my earlier opponents. Like I can probably solve the 600 like a lot faster. But I'm not so sure that's going to be true against Umnik, so I'm pretty scared.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Then versus Umnik, do you think you're a bit better for easy problems or maybe for hard problems?
I don't know. Umnik is pretty fast, and I don't really know if there's any particular like difficulty that is that I'm going to be faster at. So I think I'm just gonna try my best and not rely too much on just being better, and instead try and like go for some interesting strategies. So we'll see. I haven't fully thought this through yet.
We'll see. By the way, guys, we are live right now with voice, and we will just wait for Umnik to set up the screen sharing on Discord.
going to put this camera back.
Now you need to put your cat like on your head or something if you want it to be visible by camera.
No cat cam. Not during the contest. Okay. Cool. Tilt this up.
Cat versus Umnik, and also Andrew, who types whatever Cat says. Interesting match.
I'll have no chance against Cat.
It's kind of 2v1 though. One person thinks, the other types. That's unfair. Umnik, you need to get Tourist to also like type for you or something.
Please no. I'm okay with Umnik getting Tourist as long as they're each only allowed to use one hand.
And only one half of their brain. Oh, I see screen share by Umnik.
Okay, I'm gonna go this contest, so you'd be good, okay? Okay. Okay. I guess I can try this.
Umnik, can you do something on your screen? Cool, we see it, and we see it very well. Did you try compilation?
Yeah, I tried after I restarted the Sublime. Let's try again. After turning on the camera and screen share. I'm fine with it.
Then I have your screens, I have your faces. Whenever you want, we can start.
Sure, I'm ready if you are, Nick. I guess we should mute this tab or whatever.
Yep.
Yes, you need to mute the tab or just the whole system. You need to mute yourself. If you forget to do that, I will do it for you. I'm able to do it. And good luck. Let the best one win.
I didn't hear because I already muted, but best of luck. Do you want me to mute my... Should I mute my mic?
Yes, do it.
Okay, we're about to get started. Looks like they're just doing some match setup.
Yep. So for those who have just joined, I'm here with Neal, commentating on the finals of Lockout Coding Championship of Andrew versus Alexei or Eknerwala versus Umnik. We will see this setup. On the left, Eknerwala stream, on the right, Umnik. At the bottom you'll see the scores. The first one to get 1100 point wins, and what's important, after one person solves a problem, the other cannot do it anymore. So if they both work on the same problem, one of them will snap the win before the other. I wonder if Umnik's screen froze or just he isn't typing anything. We'll see.
Okay, so the problems are loading, and we'll get started very soon. Yeah, what I've generally done in these is I look for I have some idea of which problems I want to start with, but I end up looking for a short statement because, you definitely don't want to jump in and just read a whole wall of text right at the beginning.
Oh. I'm trying to fix Omnic's screen. Hopefully it will work. It might be an issue on his side. In Discord, are you able to watch his screen?
Let me take a look.
It started working. Great. Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so
palindromic matrix. No, Sonient matrix. Actually, there are two problems about matrices.
okay, it looks like Omnic is also doing a bit of scrolling between the problems. He was on the 500, now looking at the 600. Can you tell which one Andrew is looking at? The 400.
Not that. Yep, Eknerwala is working on 400 and Omnic is thinking about... Is that the last problem? The one with matrix?
That is the 600, yes.
Interesting how many people start with 400 nowadays. I thought that the meta is really to go for 500 most of the time.
Yeah, we were actually just talking about this with Eknerwala, where he said it seems like a lot of people are starting with the 500, and so you can just, if you think your opponent will and you think you can get it faster than them, then starting with that and getting it and sniping them on it will give you a big head start.
Yep. Yeah, Neal is the other commentator. I will show that for a moment. I'm here, Errichto, on the bottom, Neal Wu, the other commentator in this match, and Andrew, so Eknerwala, and Alexei at the bottom, Omnic, are facing each other in the finals. I would definitely start with 100 or 1.00. Actually, I started with easy problems, but that's because I can read very fast, and also in code versus rounds, sometimes I get the first accepted on problem A. So I try to get like 100 and 200 because I think I have advantage on over most people, while I'm not better than others in hard problems.
Yeah, I remember you were around with Steven where you did 100, 200, 300 before Steven had anything, and we thought, oh, this might just be a blowout, but then Steven pulled it together and got the 500.
Yeah, and my mistake was not to do 500 and 600 in parallel.
Right.
I should have read both statements, think about each of them for like 5 minutes, and whenever he solves a problem, I have a head start on the other one.
On the other one, yeah. Yeah, that was something that actually came into play for me in my first match today, where it was down to I could get either the 500 or 600 to win. And so I just kind of read both of them, thought a bit about both of them, and then I saw that my opponent, Zaf, got the 500, so just jumped into the 600 right away.
Is Omnix implementing the last one, or is it... His file is called a.cpp. No, the road to post office. That's 400. Oh, he switched. They are solving.
Oh, are they
the
both
problem.
doing the 400?
I think so.
That's exciting. we'll see what happens here. It looks like Andrew, yeah, so he had a few minutes of a head start, right? And maybe that will be enough to finish it first. Maybe not. We'll see.
Let's take a quick look at the statement. This is road to post office. The statement isn't very long. The car breaks after every k kilometers, and they need t seconds to repair it. To drive 1 kilometer on car, Vasily spends a seconds. To walk 1 kilometer on foot, he needs b seconds. And he needs to get to somewhere. So you use your car for some time if it's fast enough for the full intervals of k kilometers. And either you will get to the very end with your car, or to the last cycle with your car, or you will just use your foot for the whole journey. Is that right?
Yeah, so it sounds like you can use your car for some amount of time, 0 or more, and then you can switch to going by foot for some more amount of time, 0 or more. It's interesting that they both go for this problem, because to me it seems like a problem where you can get wrong answer pretty easily. It looks like Umnik just got it.
Yes, Umnik got it. But did Eknerwala submit as well? Can you see that in Codeforce's history submission?
He did not submit.
Okay.
Is he still working on it?
No, 4 segments is the third problem, and he has that one.
I see. So it looks like he saw that Umnik got it and is switching over.
Yep. Actually, they are both.
They're actually again.
Yeah.
This is pretty exciting. They're
unusual.
on some sort of psychic level here, going for the same problems again.
Yep. Go Eknerwala. Chat, what's up? Who will win? Umnik or Eknerwala? I think it will be more interesting if now Eknerwala gets the 300 first to make it more even. Because then they need both an easy problem and a hard problem. If now it's 700 for Umnik, then one hard problem is enough for you. One person said that tourist will win. That's an interesting opinion. I'm going to open Eknerwala's submissions. Yeah.
It looks like Umnik is pretty far along on this problem already. He's got the DP initialization ready.
Yeah, so Umnik.
Actually, it looks like Eknerwala switched to the 500.
Oh, that's... You're using pipe. Okay, nice. Well, that's for sure much better than spending some extra time on 300 when Umnik is so close to submitting. Yeah, do we have a submit by Umnik? We do. Let's see the result. Again, in this contest, there is no penalty for wrong submission. So after you get anything reasonable, you can submit and basically then test. Running on test 1.
He got wrong answer on test 1. So I think he did exactly what you said.
It seems that his program prints one value and instead the output is several values. Did I see that correctly? On the right, we see something. Like 6 is his output? I'm not sure.
Oh, you're right. It looks like he just... Oh, maybe... I didn't read the problem yet, but it looks like probably you need to maximize something and then you need to output 3 indices that construct the solution. But maybe he just printed the actual value. That's what it looks like, yeah.
for sure it happens to misread the statement, or just because when you rush for something and every second counts, then you don't even have time to read the output section. Should we maybe take a look at 300 pointer or 500? Which one is shorter?
The 300 is definitely a shorter statement.
Okay, maybe we will manage to understand it before Umnik solves it. What do we have here? Very quick look.
I see. Okay, so it looks like essentially you're given an array of size up to 5,000.
Yep.
The array elements can be between negative 10 to the 9th and 10 to the 9th. And you just want to split up the array into 4 contiguous subarrays.
Okay.
So just 4 sections to fully split up the array. And you will add the first section, subtract the second section, add the third section, and subtract the fourth section. And you want to maximize that.
Okay. Seems like DP when we go from left to right and we want to know in what state we are. In the first part, second,
Exactly.
third, and fourth? Then that's quite easy.
Yeah.
Why is
just the annoying thing is you have to print the actual indices, not the value.
Umnik is submitting. And also, he refreshes not only his list of submissions, but also list of submissions by Eknerwala. And
he got accepted.
Good. He got accepted. Nice.
So that is 700 for him?
Yes, exactly. 0 to 700, but Eknerwala has implemented already a lot in 500 pointer.
Okay, so now Umnik can safely ignore both the 100 and 200, because even if he got both of those, he's still only at 1,000.
Yes.
And he needs 1,100.
Yep.
So he should just be looking only at the 500 and 600.
And right now he's looking at 500, but Eknerwala is submitting.
So Eknerwala's best chance here is to hope that
wrong answer on test
Umnik
5.
focuses on the 500 that he's working on, and he gets the wrong answer. So Umnik can go and see that he's working on the 500.
Yes, if Umnik refreshes the list of submissions of Eknerwala, he will be far ahead because he will now start solving 600, knowing that he's so, behind in 500. Steven says in the chat that Eknerwala should stall a bit. That might be smart. If you know that Umnik submitted something, the recent problem, like 2 minutes before, then maybe you shouldn't submit 500 and instead you should jump to the other problem and wait with your submission instead of revealing it. Umnik is looking at 600 now, but I don't know if he saw the wrong answer submission.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he did, but it looks like he is focusing on the 600.
What about this? Should Eknerwala now jump to 600 without fixing 500? Okay, chat says he saw it. Okay, so Umnik knows about wrong answer. Should Eknerwala now fix his bug or leave that for later, knowing that Umnik should start now doing 600? What do you think?
Yeah, there's definitely a fun mix-up there. I think it's almost like a 50-50 where you can just, if you think your opponent is definitely going to go for the 600, then you should probably go for it as well. If you think they're also thinking on this mind game level and they might, go back to the 500, then you need to, mix it up and do more of a 50-50.
Yep. I wonder how the meta will change, after, let's say, years of those Lockout games.
We'll see. That'll be exciting to see.
If something is overpowered, it's very easy to counter that with rules, because organizer chooses difficulties of problems. I will show that for a moment here. the difficulties of problems are 1500, 17, 18, 19, then 21, 23. So problems 2, 3, and 4 are similar to each other with difficulty. Then there is a big gap for 500 and a big gap for 600. If that wasn't the case, maybe 400 wasn't such a valuable problem to solve first. But right now 400 is still easier, much easier than the next two.
Steven said maybe Walla can fake a wrong answer on the 600 to cause them panic. I think it's not a bad idea. I mean, he kind of just gave away too much info with that 500 submission.
What about making just some code that makes an if for sample test, not even an if, just print output of some first sample test, get wrong answer on the second one, and
exactly.
Pretend that you have something. We haven't yet seen that, I think, in any Lockout competition.
One thing I will say, though, is it's quite hard to think about these strategies in the middle of trying to solve the problems.
Yes, of course.
And so I think, by default, what's happening right now is just Eknerwall is trying to fix his 500 and Umnik is working on the 600.
Yep. It's actually easier during normal competitions. Like in Codeforces or Topcoder, most likely you will not lose because of, let's say, 1 minute. Also, competition lasts more than 1 hour, up to 2 hours, where here it's just 45 minutes. That's the upper limit. Maybe they should have gone for longer time, for like 1 hour and a bit better difficulties, like higher difficulties. But now that's decided already. But yeah, every second can count. We already saw today, even in your matches, cases where you cut your opponent by, 20 seconds, and then they don't get points for the same problem.
Right, it's a very different mechanic from just the regular rounds where, if you're, let's say you're aiming for first place and then you're a few minutes behind the person who's in first place, then, that's not a big deal. You can make it up on the next problem. But if that's the case here, you are just way, way behind.
This increases variety, so also makes such a tournament more interesting, but also more random. Not always better person will win. And yeah, I wonder what's the perfect contest then. Also the perfect one to stream. Wouldn't 2300 be too easy for these top coders? As you see, it still takes not less than 5 minutes, between maybe 5 and 30 minutes most of the time. So it's about right. Let's take a quick look at the finals of intermediate, because here we aren't getting any submissions anytime soon, I believe. Okay, finals of intermediate division. This is match 1. What is going on here? 2 problems were solved already, 200 and 300, and it's a quite even match. It's 300 versus 200. For a moment, let's watch this stream by Xani. He's solving problem fill the bag, and that was in 500. So Xani has 300, is going for 500. That would be 800 in total, and then 4 or 6 is enough to win. Later we will take a look as well at Steph's screen, but now let's get back right here. I will fix Omnic's screen. Where is my pop-out window? Did you read the problems?
Are you talking about the Omnic Eknerwall match?
Yep. Did you read
I'm
500
reading
or
the
600?
500 right now.
Okay.
So the 500, the problem is that you're given a list of numbers, and there are up to 2 times 10 to the 5 numbers in the list, and the numbers are also themselves up to 2 times 10 to the 5. You need to pick at most 3 of the numbers and get the largest sum possible. And so you can pick 1 number, 2 numbers, or 3 numbers. But there's one condition, which is you cannot have any of your numbers divisible by any of the other numbers. So if
How
you
big are
picking,
numbers?
2 times 10 to the 5th.
2 times 10 to the 5th. I see. No divisors allowed. Huh.
So one example that they give you is you have an array and the numbers are 10, 6, 30, and 15.
Yep.
And so in that case, 30 is the biggest number, but if you want to pick more than one number, you cannot pick 30 because it is divisible by every other number. And so it's actually better to pick 10, 6, and 15, which gets you.
Oh, are you saying something? It cut you.
Oh, so you heard the array 10, 6, 30, and 15?
Yeah. The example. Yes.
Yeah. So if you want to pick more than one number, you cannot pick 30.
Yes, I see.
Because 30 is divisible by everything else. And so it's actually best to pick 10, 6, and 15, and you get a sum of 31.
Okay. Well, it makes sense that in a hard problem you don't just pick 3 biggest elements. Okay. I will open the statement also for viewers in a moment to show that sample test. Merge finals. This
Looks like Eknerwala
500.
resubmitted and he got the same wrong answer.
Okay. This is the statement of 500, the process strikes back, that Neal has just explained. Yeah, we have here example with sequence 5, 6, 15, 30. And then the answer is what? The sum?
The sum.
Sum.
That's right.
Yeah. Wait. Why is the sum 30? It's 30 itself?
You can pick at most 3, so you can pick one number.
Oh, okay. And in the second case, instead of 30, we go with 15, 10, and 6, and then we avoid any repetition.
Mm-hmm.
My very, very first guess is that it's some kind of meet in the middle where we need to iterate over the middle of 3 elements. But not really, because we still have condition between smallest and greatest. What I said maybe makes sense if they should be divisible by each other. Like for example, 7, 17, and 140. Then often it makes sense to look at the middle of 3 elements. But maybe not here. Oh, actually, I think I didn't show the statement to people. Sorry about that. Omnic is maybe close to solving 600. Omnic will win unless he really now struggles at this 600. He needs to have some very difficult to catch mistake or logic error, anything like that. 4522. I think that sample output was correct. 3623. That's an interesting strategy. He first tested and only then submitted. Refreshing Eknerwala's submission page, and is that game over? Running on test 1?
It's running test 3. Test 14. 37.
I see GG in the chat.
Pretty far.
I think that, yeah, that's it. Also, Eknerwala solved the 500, right?
Yeah, he just did just before this.
Yep. That's a game over. Well,
It looks like
just too good.
Eknerwala has not quite realized, so.
He likely will in a few minutes. That was fast. Wow. Omnik, you there?
Yep.
Congratulations. You won, I think, the first Lockout tournament. How do you feel about that?
It's okay. I could say win was kind of more important today.
GG's. Let me unmute this side. I tried to be too fancy.
Yeah, what happened on the 500?
I don't know. I think maybe I just copied the wrong code. I mean, the fancy stuff that I did that really lost me the game was I tried to hold the 400, and then I got sniped.
Oh.
I solved the 400 before you, Nick, but I didn't submit it because I wanted to hold it and submit it with the 300.
What?
Oh, so it could have actually
Why would you
been.
do that?
Oh,
Yeah. I
It
don't
could
know.
have actually been 900, 900 now.
Like, I don't know if you guys are watching. I finished it and then I didn't submit it. So
Okay.
it was just a little bit too gutsy. I actually expected Nick to go for the 5 or 600 because I thought those problems looked tractable. So I expected Nick to go for them, and then it would be fine for me to like hold them, but it didn't work out that way.
I think we missed that, and that seems like, well, brave decision, and it didn't pay out this time.
I guess let me submit it now to see if it actually passes.
It's funny, we actually talked about the holding your submission strategy for the 500, where you actually submitted and got a wrong answer, and that was basically what told Nick to go work on the 600.
Yeah, that's
I see.
it's not holding the problem, is just reaching to the other problem. But what sense does it make to just not submit? I don't understand.
I think Lydia got it right. The risk he took was calculated, but I think he's bad at math.
Yeah,
that's quite accurate.
I mean, I only had the 400 like slightly faster. I just like really expected you to go for the 5 or 6, which is kind of just too aggressive, I guess.
Did you pass?
Also, this runtime errors, so I don't know runtime errors. I don't know why the hell this code would runtime error.
Which test?
Well, you do have some asserts.
Yeah, I just have an assert. Yeah.
Easy. Remove assert.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It was just not a great choice in the end. So oh well. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was an okay strategy, but it was probably not the right place or time to use it. Also, on the 500, what did I do wrong? Oh, so were you looking at my submissions?
So we look at your code as you went.
Sorry, I guess was Nick looking at like submissions? I wasn't really sure if that was
yes, he was.
Or not.
Yes, he was.
Okay. Well, yeah. We should next time when we run tournaments, we should make sure that these rules are clear. I'm also not sure if I'm allowed to look at this data. Am I?
Are you? Wait, hang on. Are you asking if he opened your code, or are you asking if he just looked at the fact that you submitted?
Either, really.
I think list of submissions is allowed, but actually we have here tournament organizer.
Am I allowed to look at test case for my wrong answer?
No, yeah, there were rules that were posted in all the match channels for the preliminary matches. Unfortunately, they were not there in the finals channels. But the rules were, if I recall correctly, you can look at your opponent, or you can look at your opponent's submission list, but you can't look at their code, and you can't look at the test data if you get a wrong answer or whatever. Yeah, congratulations to Nick on the win.
Oh my god. Yeah, for the 500, my second round submit is I literally just pasted the same code.
Oh, you picked the wrong code.
Well, it was just still in my clipboard, and I just didn't verify. Oops. That's pretty bad.
Doesn't Codeforces tell you submitted exactly this code before?
Yeah, I don't know why it didn't.
Maybe he copy-pasted at some other moment as well?
Strange.
It looks like there is a small diff.
Oh, I changed one line or something. I don't really know why.
A break. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's pretty silly. I should have checked my code before submitting. Oops.
Yeah, it happens. You're trying to go super fast here too, so.
Yeah. I think
it happen.
I think submitting the 500 is the right play. I think I have to submit it. Or I guess the other option I have is to, yeah, because like once Umnik finishes either, he just submits it, right? Like I could try and finish both before he finishes either, but I don't think that works.
Yeah, maybe it's more that if you do submit it, you should really make sure you get it. Otherwise, you're still stuck on the same problem.
I mean that was definitely not intentional to get it wrong.
Yeah, of course.
But, oops.
We actually discussed an interesting strategy though, where what if you had, for example, on the 500 wrong submit, because you would assume that Umnik would see that and he would go work on the 600. Maybe you should just ditch the 500 and go for the 600 and try to beat him to it.
Yeah, well, I wasn't expecting that we could look at the other. I wasn't strategizing around looking at the submit log because I didn't realize that was permitted. I mean, that's on me, but that might be something. I think that's the big issue with allowing you to see your opponent's submit log. It's that like it starts to encourage just like garbage strategies where you just like submit random crap as misinformation.
Well, I think that would be interesting, and we actually haven't seen that yet. So I would be excited to see that.
I think that's just a bad Nash, and I would rather not be the person to push us there. But if it really comes to that, like I will write a script that submits every problem every second. Like I don't know, like is that really the world you want to see?
But yeah, I mean, it seems like it could also be a strategy just to write something that passes samples and then fails immediately afterwards, just by hard coding the sample test cases. Just to indicate to your opponent that not only are you submitting, but that you're actually somehow close.
like this kind of information, like we somehow have to come up with rules that if we want this information to allow this information, we do have to come up with some rules for like, I don't know, good faith or something, or come up with a better system that doesn't have these weird adverse effects.
I guess in any kind of game or system, once some exploit is used, maybe once or maybe more than once, then we think about a way to combat it at all.
Do you guys really need me to go write this for the next lockout we do? Like, I'll do it. There are command line tools already.
I will show the screen. This is what is happening in intermediate division. Steph Daska is now resubmitting 500 pointer. Again, it's 3-200, quite close match. And they both work on 500. It's something related to bits, and indeed both codes deal with 64 bits. And Steph has wrong answer on test 3 for a second time, I believe.
And it looks like they only have about 10 minutes in the match, so this probably isn't going to come down to 1,100 points. Most likely, whichever one of them can just get one of these last 3 problems will probably end up winning the match.
Yeah, Xani right now is testing, so maybe we'll see another submit. -1, 0, -1, is that the output? Some more testing. Geothermal, Jay, what do you think about the difficulty of finals? Should it be easier, harder, longer, shorter?
I know. I think one thing that would be nice if we had infinite time would be to do it in a best of 3 format, just because lockout is inherently extremely variable, and so I think that would just make it a little more easy to believe that the results are in some way consistent. As far as difficulty, I think overall, I guess maybe slightly harder might have been better. I mean, obviously, I think this was probably this was a considerably, I don't know if I'd say considerably more competitive than all the other matches, but I definitely think this is an exceptionally strong match. Obviously, we have two of the best Code Forces competitors in the world competing, and so at that point, it maybe makes sense to start adding some slightly harder problems into the mix. Maybe bump up all the all or most of the difficulties by 100 or so. But yeah, I mean, I think obviously you would have to talk to the competitors to get a more accurate take on that.
Yeah, I'm not so sure better competitors need harder problems. Like I'm not entirely sure that really exists, or like that effect is that strong. Because I don't know, it just like sure, like better competitors are like faster at easy problems, but like also like they're not like they don't like how much faster you are at an easy problem like is pretty like decays pretty quickly. So like we still take a good amount of time on the easy problems, and you don't really want like just because we can solve like div 1 e's like doesn't mean like doesn't
what you're saying is that difficulty of difference of difficulties shouldn't be big, but obviously because there should be a difference in difficulties given to us and to people who are beginners. It's just that there is some scale there.
I guess what I'm saying is like I don't really know if like well, I'm not even sure like bottom of div 1 and top of div 1 need different problems. Maybe they need different problems, but like I think the range is pretty wide.
Right. Yeah, and basically the way I think about it is it's probably best for most matches to end up finishing with one competitor reaching 1100 points, just because that makes it a little easier to strategize. But then the matches also just shouldn't finish super quickly. And so sort of the way I've been setting difficulties is just been or throughout the tournament has basically been to attempt to make the problems as difficult as I can, just to make the contest more interesting, while still ensuring that someone reaches half of the available points by the time expires.
Yeah.
Obviously, though, there are a lot of other valid ways to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if the goal is to have a round in about 45 minutes or less, right? I don't think we need to go really much higher than what we're currently doing at all. Like if we put in a 2800 problem, that gets to the point where there's a good chance neither competitor will solve it in the amount of time, especially because after the other problems, they might only have, 20 something minutes on it.
Right. No, I definitely would not endorse putting a 2800 in a lockout round.
Yeah.
That really does not seem advisable.
So here where we talk about 2300, that seems pretty reasonable to me.
Yeah. I wonder, what do you guys think about like the difficulty jumps? I feel like EF or like F is usually like quite a bit harder than E, which is quite a bit harder than D. Do you guys feel that as well when in like your matches?
Right. So here there was a bigger gap between 400 and 500 and 5 and 600. Is this what you're asking about?
Yeah.
So I think that was on purpose, right? 200 point gaps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was intentional, just just to make 500 and especially 600 more challenging. Since once you get either or both of them, there are a lot more ways to win.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of addressing the same issue that happened in a lot of the preliminary rounds, where matches were 5 problems long, and getting the 500 pointer quickly was a pretty dominant strategy. And so we ended up, once we were able to do rating increments different from 100, we started to shift that to make the 500 particularly difficult, just to make going straight for the 500 less of a dominant strategy.
Yeah, I think another big factor here is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, where really with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 500 is very dominant. It's quite hard to win without the 500. You need to get to 800. So you basically need 100, 300, 400, or 200, 300, 400. And so
yeah, I mean, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is equivalent to 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, if that's easier to think about.
Yeah, so the strategy you mentioned of going for the 500 is actually what I ended up doing a lot of the time in the preliminary rounds.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think then I guess competitors are welcome to weigh in on this. My instinct is the 6 problem matches are maybe somewhat more interesting from a competitive perspective or from a strategic standpoint.
Yeah, I think for sure. Or at least they're definitely more interesting than just like 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 weighting.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot
maybe
more
you
like...
could change up the distribution even if you keep 5 problems, but...
Yeah. Another thing is that the 100 pretty much never sees any solves in this setup. Is it ever useful? Is it ever important? It's very rarely important.
Let me interrupt. Right? Jay, can you answer a question about rules in match 1 of intermediate?
Oh, yeah, let me check.
Also, Steph Daska has submitted and accepted the 500, and now it's 7-300 in that match for the winner of intermediate division.
You guys talk about so much about different strategies. I just open some problems, and if the problem looks solvable, yeah, just go for it. So the strategy comes when it is close to how much points you need to win. So in this match, 400 plus 300 looks stupid, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I started on the 400 too.
We can't get 1100 after that. It's not possible. But after that, I just close first 2 problems, and then I have to solve 1 more. Okay, but other than that, just solve some problems. It kind of works.
Yeah.
We need to create some rules where Umnik fails because he just isn't aware of what happens with problems and points. Like, I know, 1000 points for the first problem, even though it's very easy, something like that.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
Got a bit of a tense situation going in the intermediate finals. Steph Daska is currently up 700 over Siasani. With only about 2 or 3 minutes to go, Siasani has to finish up his solution to 600 really quickly if he wants to take the win.
How much time is left?
I believe about 2 minutes, give or take.
I don't think he's coding anything. He's going to even actually type something in the chat. You win because I was also solving 500. Yep. So that's GG right there.
All right.
Stephen K Plus says that not thinking about strategy gives the 20% improvement in problem solving performance. Maybe actually that's the mystery, the secret recipe. Just not to think about strategy, focus on a problem. Just from time to time refresh a submission list of your opponent, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
There might be something to that. I found a lot of the time when I'm playing Lockout that when I think too much about the strategy or about what my opponent is doing, I assume that they might be going for the same problem as me or just generally winning really quickly. And so I feel a lot of pressure to start coding as fast as I can. And that means that a lot of the time I end up spending a bunch of time writing a solution that turns out to be completely incorrect. And obviously at that point, it's pretty hard to get back on top of the game.
Mm-hmm.
There's a question. Is Umnik still a student or a professional? A professional student, maybe? You're still doing ICPC this year, right?
I should go for the finals for this year.
Okay.
For 2020?
Yeah. I'm technically still a student, but we want to how does it go? I'm not good in English. So yeah, I don't go to lectures or something.
So, actually, just like almost every student, we didn't get a definite answer. I think that chat is scared of you in ICPC. Imagine being against Umnik in ICPC. Can you imagine being against yourself in ICPC? Oh, and we have a cat camera again.
Cats.
Let's enjoy for a moment the final brackets in every division. This is the...
Let me update the intermediate one real quick.
So that will be updated in a moment. But yeah, in the main one, Umnik got to the very top by beating Roma White, then Neal, and then Ekner Walla. And before that, there was like extra 7 rounds. Umnik, were you in loser bracket? Did you lose something?
Yep, I was crushed by Dory. Like in 5 minutes, he solved 500 and 300.
Okay. So,
or maybe even 405. I don't remember, but yeah, I just I couldn't do anything. Basically, I think I have gone to 500, and he solved something before that, and then was faster on 500. That was awesome.
Yeah,
that's very
a lot
unusual.
of time Dory's speed can just... Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying that that's very unusual to be that fast.
Yeah, a lot of the time Dory's speed can be pretty brutal. You see it a lot of the time when he participates out of competition in Div 2 and Div 3 rounds.
We will be joined by the intermediate division finalists shortly. Yeah. Jay, what general thoughts do you have on this tournament? When will you organize it again, or just too much work?
I think in the event that I do it again, I'll just need to run it over the summer, because basically what happened is I started the tournament in, I think it was the middle of August. And at that point, I had plenty of time. I was able to keep on top of everything. There were hundreds of matches, but it was no problem. All the rounds were starting on time, that sort of thing. And then suddenly I went back to school and I found that I had no time left. And so that meant that there were some delays. Most notably, it took a fair amount of time for the final rounds to be settled. So I'm really glad that we were able to finally make them happen today. But I do think probably I will not be organizing another one until at least this upcoming summer. And of course, even then, if it works out better for someone else to do it, that would also be fine. But overall, I'm really happy with how it went. One thing that I think made it a lot smoother, especially for the finals today, was that midway through the tournament, the developer of Lockout bot added the feature where you can select the number of problems, the rating distribution, the scoring distribution, that sort of thing. And I think that ended up making the rounds considerably more interesting. But it was exciting just to see. I know there have been some small scale Lockout tournaments before, but it was exciting to see a Lockout competition just on such a large scale. I think we had about 250 competitors. And I was really impressed by the quality of the competition.
Yeah. It's amazing that you spent so much time on this tournament. I think it's
the thank
first
you so
of
much for organizing this stream.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks so much to all of you for competing. And Errichto, I definitely today could not have happened without all the work you put into setting up the stream. So I really appreciate that.
Happy to do so. It wasn't. I expected this to be a lot worse. I expected a lot more technical difficulties. So it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it seemed like it was going really smoothly.
Yep.
once we got the streaming and Discord fixed in the first round, overall, I think it was fairly smooth sailing.
Okay, hey everyone. I actually do have to run, but thanks to Errichto for hosting the stream. Thanks Geothermal for running the whole tournament. And yeah, hope to see everyone next time.
Thanks for joining us. See ya. A moment ago, I got a request of joining by somebody. Did you see the name? Was it the Xani? CSani? I don't know his first and second name.
See if you can check on Code Forces. Might have enough there.
Yep, that's him. So, Steph and Anirudh, you can, I guess, unmute yourself. Yeah. You're muted right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, Steph? Congratulations on the win.
Thanks. It was pretty interesting to compete in this tournament. I didn't expect this tournament to last for 3 months.
There was a long break before the finals.
Yeah. I love how I was, the closest I've been to losing was in the first game, like in the very first game of my tournament. Like, I was competing against that guy, and he was ahead of me, and he was submitting to the problem, which if he solved it, he would have won, and I would have had to go in a much harder path to finals in the losing one. It was pretty fun, and I'm waiting for other questions. I'll let my finalists answer things as well.
I think you were both solving the 500 at the same time, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
How close were you, Anirudh?
I was having some error, I think. I almost solved it. There was some bug in this. I was debugging the code. But he solved it first.
Yeah. At the same time, you also solved the 300 faster than I did. Which
Okay.
was
You
like,
saw the 200 pretty quickly, I think.
wait, let me see which task was that. Oh, it was
200. I didn't read it.
it was a hyperset. Yeah, I solved it faster because it was like one of these tasks where you could just do a brute force and optimize it. Like I remember some of my students telling me about this task, but I didn't look carefully. I just knew that he solved it. So otherwise, and also it didn't matter either. Like, it's a pretty easy task.
It was nice to see a close match there, like 300 versus 200 and racing for the same problem basically. So
yeah,
anybody could win. Nice.
Yeah.
Some earlier
when I solved the 500, I thought you were trying the 600, and I was like waiting. And then
No, I was just reading it in case it's doable in 5 minutes, but it was obviously not.
No, like before actually seeing your message, actually, that you were solving the 500 as well.
Okay, yeah. I just read it once and it was not solvable, so I left it.
600 was an old problem. So, yeah.
What was the what difficulty problems you had in this round?
1400, 1500, 1600, 17, 1900, 2100.
So that's a difference of 200 for
the last two.
Okay. I'm asking about the comparison with the open division. I think it's 200 lower every problem. Jay can confirm that.
Yeah, the 100 point problem is only 100 rating lower, but other than that, every problem is 200 rating lower than the open division counterparts. Which I think sort of gets at what Andrew was saying about how there's not really going to be a huge difference in the appropriate ratings between competitors, even when you go from I believe the intermediate division was, I think, up to candidate masters, and whereas the open division had in finals several LGMs competing.
Well, I think it made a lot of sense to make those divisions. Though at the very beginning, I was afraid of just fake accounts. Almost everybody has an alt account nowadays, so.
Right. But I think on the other hand, there's maybe more glory to be won in the open division, and so I think like to the extent that someone can be competitive or can be at least moderately competitive there, they may prefer to do so. But I know we're going to need to deal with some sort of verification process if it seemed like that was likely. But I mean, I'm fairly confident that nobody in the finals was an all of any sort. So obviously not in the open division, but also in the intermediate or closed divisions.
That's very nice. Oh. Guys, any suggestions about the format of either the tournament or just rules of Lockout or anything like that? 6 problems? Good, bad?
Yeah, the format was good.
Yeah, it gave us room to choose from problems. I actually think there was a problem about forfeits. There were like many forfeits throughout the contest, and it's quite problematic. But at the same time, I doubt there can be much done about it as long as people are from different places.
Yeah. Maybe
yeah,
it
I think
happens
largely,
more often
in
intermediate than in open.
I think we should do something similar but with duels, like Lockout but smaller.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think there were a decent number of forfeits in open, but there were considerably more in intermediate, and most of all, there were a very large number of them in the closed division, which I think is just hard to avoid because it's easy for people to sign up for something like this and then just not show up or disappear after a few rounds. Or maybe they play a few rounds and they lose one, and then they decide they don't want to go through the one-loss bracket. But yeah, so to some extent, so like I agree with Steph that if we could have avoided that, that would have been ideal. But I am not sure what the best way to do that is. Of course, if anyone has suggestions, I would be more than happy to hear them.
We have one interesting question from the chat. Favorite match in the tournament? Anybody has some particular interesting match? I think Steph already mentioned the one where he almost lost, like the very first one. Andrew, Umnik, what about you?
Honestly, I don't remember too many of my matches anymore. They were so long ago. I remember some of them got pretty close, and those were pretty exciting. But honestly, I don't even remember the details anymore.
I remember my match where I thought that I won because I submitted before the bot said the round is over, but it turned out I did it in like 45 minutes plus 5 seconds or something like that.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I think it was against is this FFT?
Yeah, that was a crazy match.
The closer the match is, the more interesting, I guess.
It was a shame. I remember. Sorry, go ahead.
I almost lost my first match in the tournament. The problems were so easy that like 400 was like just implement what is written in the statement, and I got something messed up, like swapped and then probably, and I got locked out of it, and then like the score was 500 to 500, and I was losing by time. And the last problem was something very serious. I thought I wouldn't be able to finish it in time, but it turned out fine. But yeah, I think it was like the most the most intense one.
Xani or CSani, what's your opinion? Most interesting match, the final one or not?
Yeah, final one was interesting, but there was one I don't remember, third or fourth round, in which it was like I solved 10 seconds before the other competitor. Like we both crossed the 700 marking there. They were both at 300 or 400, and both were solving the 500 one.
Yeah.
And
Something like this.
I solved just 10-15 seconds before him.
Cool. Any final thoughts? Also, Andrew, I muted you because your keyboard was too loud. You can unmute yourself.
Yeah, sorry about that. My bad.
Then I will say, Jay, Geothermal, thank you a lot for organizing this. I was also a participant and I had a lot of fun. 80% of my lockout matches happened in this tournament. So I experienced it too. And congrats, Unik, for winning, Eknerwala for the second place, and also in the intermediate division for our 2 top places, especially Steph for winning the finals.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to organize this. So thanks so much to all of you for competing, and congratulations to all of you on your excellent performance.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Jay.
Yeah. Thanks, Jay.
Can I shout out? Can I shout out my channels?
Oh yeah, I can do it. I can do it, and we can wrap it up.
Yeah.
You saw for a moment right here Steph Daska's channel where he streamed his performance, and he does a lot of videos and maybe also
Not
streams.
as many as in the past, but I do them regularly.
Yep. I will put a link in a moment in the chat.
Thank you.
Umnik also does some videos, but I don't know if he wants to shout out himself. You can search for Umnik. Okay. See you, everybody.
Sure.
See y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
And chat, thank you for watching. Bye-bye. Steph is proud of himself. Yeah, he should be. Having channel is the key to win. Oh, you're right. Both winners of open and intermediate divisions have YouTube channels, so maybe that helps. Yeah, thank you, 20 Pixels, for watching. Bada Whisker, Pranay. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today. Yeah, follow me on Twitch. Subscribe to YouTube, Errichto, for more streams and videos. Have a good day and night. Bye-bye.